Looking out in the crowd, it's time for transformation, and we need someone that can transform us and take us to another place. You know, look at what's actually happening. Look what's actually coming on here. It's a little bit chaos, and you had the ability to, you know, really take us forward. I think there was a united front that second Tuesday in October to move forward, and now it's not necessarily, I think there's a bit of a united front here that's giving you a message.
My job as an educator, my job as a human, is to really listen closely to children, especially now.
Over the past several years, I've been witness to many incidents of racism, both individual and institutional. I've seen people that I care about hurt by racism and struggle against the barriers that have been set up to keep people targeted by racism to be successful. I've gotten a glimpse at what people struggle against. The small pieces that I've seen are difficult to face. People that I know have had loved ones killed, people have been emotionally hurt, and a barrier set up against them to make it difficult for them to be successful. Racism is a destructive force in our country, in our city, and our world. And although there's been progress, there's much work to do.
For the past year, I have been following and have been inspired to follow the story of one of VHS's teachers, Reuben Jackson. His contract has not been renewed. He has not been extended a full-time position for next year. It is all the more shocking to hear this and understand that he is the only, or among the only, African-American teachers at VHS. This is a real failure to listen to the parents and the students of the school district. An incredible failure. This is a real failure of the leadership of this district. To my mind, there are two immediate actions that can be taken. One is to extend a full-time contract to Mr. Jackson for next year, and the other is to not renew the contract of Superintendent Collins. Thank you.
I've been doing this work for 50 years, since 1962. She who feels it, knows it. And we're really tired of people denying that these experiences are some kind of fiction. I implore you all to really listen. Revisit these documents. There are some guidelines, and I will say that this district has followed some of them. But when it comes to the issue of race and racism, cognitive dissonance takes over. Nobody wants to hear about it. Everybody's rocking and rolling. Oh my God, they're calling us racist. No. This ain't about being called a racist. It's about getting your sleeves rolled up and doing the job that you're asked to do. And that is to take care of the youth.
As a white woman, I've come to understand events like what happened last week or the week before with the students as a moment when you're walking through the woods, and the woods has a beautiful thick canopy, and so it's fairly dark in the woods as you're walking through, but there's a piercing ray of sun that comes through. And you see in that sunbeam all those particles. Those particles are in the air every minute of every day, but we don't see them. And as a white woman, racism is that. It is always in the air, and we were blessed to have those students pop up a moment of their lives and then help us to see what they live with every day. Every day. We have to pay attention. We have to do more. We have to have exceptional leadership that's matched to the moment that we have right now in our community.
Denise used the term cognitive dissonance. I just see a lack of true communication. People seem to be talking by each other instead of with each other at this point. I think it's critical that the district, either through the board or the administration and the students, find a means to open those lines of communication where you have a multi-racial team of culturally competent people to facilitate these conversations in a way that will really breed communication among and between people in conflict. And there's apparently considerable conflict in the district.
we have like 3 or 4 teachers that are called that teach in the classrooms. We also would appreciate it if people will stop, the school and the media stop blaming our supporters for putting words in our mouths, because that's like saying we're stupid, we can't stand up for ourselves, we can't speak for ourselves. We also hear when people say, you guys are really well spoken, because what do you expect of us? To be dumb? Please make these changes.
I know it takes time, but how much longer do you guys need? Like, how much longer? It's true, we need to take baby steps, but we're gonna have to move faster because this is not getting us anywhere. We're here, talking, thinking, it's just not gonna help, you know? You're sitting here probably taking notes, who knows? And when you tell a person to wrap it up, this is how it makes me feel like. You take their ideas, put them behind you, throw them in the trash, and then tell them it's time to wrap it up so you can hear the next idea that'll make you feel better. A student came up to me during lunch and called me the N-word. When I told the teacher, she didn't do nothing. But then when I went up to him, called him white trash, I was suspended from the school for 3 days. How is that fair? This school's not being fair. Things need to change, you know? They support gay and everything, and we support it too. We're not gonna lie. Like, we're taking big changes around here. People have been hurting each other and we care. But they don't care enough to notice the racism and they're just avoiding it. I don't want my brothers and sisters to end up in the same shoes as I am right now. I don't want my uncle to look back and say my little niece faced the same thing over and over again. I want the school to take a step. Now, Ms. Jeanne Collins, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do to secure me that I'm gonna get a better education? That I'm gonna be here safe? What are you gonna do sitting there, like, listening to me right now? What are you personally gonna do? I'm just wondering, what are you gonna do? Huh? We're all here discussing about it. Tell me what you're gonna do. Tell me the step you're gonna take. Tell me what the teachers are gonna do. Tell me what's gonna happen amongst the students. Last year they had a meeting. Don't tell me to wrap it up. How would you like it if I tell you? You would feel.
I was going to ask you to wrap it up. I was going to interrupt you for a moment and just remind you that this is not an exchange. This is, we listen to you and we don't throw the ideas away, okay? We're just going to listen tonight.
Okay, so
thank you.
You're gonna listen, right? If you're gonna listen, do me a favor, make every student feel like they're in school and being treated equally. Like, make every student feel like they are being respected amongst the student's body. Make them feel like they are home. Make them feel like the teachers are what they can depend on. Because I don't think they have a lot of support at home and they need support in school. And if a teacher keeps putting you down, it's not going to do anything, you know? So just make sure that students are getting what they needed. And I'm speaking out for all the students. I'm not just speaking out for myself. I know I'm going to.